welcome to my living room and my ceremony temple, as well as my kitchen. You can't see that, that's on the other side of the computer, but I live in this beautiful one-bedroom flat with bay windows looking out onto the streets of Glastonbury, in the middle of the Tor and the Burial Hill, for all those that are a bit familiar with the landscape of the physical Avalon. And in this nice and cozy flat, I finally take the time to record more videos for this channel. And I want to start with something that I haven't shared yet for the English subscribers of this channel, which I came up with. It's a bit of a German wordplay, however, it's as potent for English speaking folks, and that is the heart sword. So I want to talk about the transformative power of heartache, heart pain and fears, and how we can use this power and alchemize it into our strength and literally into our own peaceful weapon, which I'd like to refer to as the heart sword, because I feel more than ever it becomes so obvious that we need to connect our heart with our minds. And for me, this heart sword is exactly that connection. I feel we need to get our sovereignty back and claim our strength from the heart, like follow our heart. So really, here's the handle of the sword, and it points towards our mind, and we gather all of this. We gather information coming up from the ground chakra and all the worlds, but it's in our heart that our power and our leverage besides. So that's where where you hold it. And there's different ways to alchemize pain into pleasure, or fear into trust, strength, or doubt into hope. And I will, over time, reveal more and more of these tools. That's one of the biggest aim I am on here as well. Because I do believe, especially this connection between heart and head is an important one. As in the ancient times, there was no separation between those two words. So the word of the mind was always connected to the heart, and the other way around, versus nowadays we've got the brain, the mind, thoughts, and then the heart as a separate entity, which can be very detrimental and dangerous. Especially, it also explains why we are such a society full of anxiety, and I'm one of those, by the way. You can still see my red eyes. They're part of an anxiety I had 2 nights ago where I was crying my eyes out. So, and that's uncomfortable. That hurts. It's not nice. But I'm referring to this because also I knew, while going through this, all these thoughts and worries, often very superficial thoughts and worries, because if you're coming down into our heart, there's unconditional love, and there's no worries. There's more trust, surrender, and acceptance to whatever life presents us. But our head wants this life to happen a certain way. It wants to function into our society. It wants to live as pain-free as possible. It wants to sustain monetary values in order to be able to sustain a flat and not live out on the streets, for example. But and at the end of the day, these are superficial societal constructs, nevertheless important because we live in that society. However, we often separate it from the trust, and then we experience anxiety. And separated from the unconditional love, and then we suffer from depression. So yeah, re-establishing that connection. Also, of course, talking about the gut feeling, so we could even go further, connecting that also with our emotions. So aligning ourselves with all the tools we have. We have the mind for our rational, logical thinking, to take action. We have the body, we have our legs, we have our voice, and then to feel. We have our emotions, we have our tears, we have feelings that are there to be experienced. And then we have our heart as well in the center to transform and guide us, to transform all of this and guide us. And together, all of this, the vessel, the body, the mind, the feelings, and the heart, they are all together stirring the ship. They're all part of it. But most of us have basically forgotten the power of the heart. And then it creates this hole in us, really, where we still have emotions, we'll still experience, unless you are one of those that suppress those as well, then you have a hole from here until there. But most of people do still have their feelings, and they have their minds, and they have their body, but they create this hole here, where actually that heart sword lies, where we can grab it, but we need to start taking action and find it again. And yes, obviously I will reveal more and more, and I'd love about what I do, what my tools are. I'd love to hear from you if you found balance, if you have tools that you use or that you practice, then please comment. Or if you don't, then please comment under this video what your current heart pain, heartache is that you want to transform, and or how I can help you, what you would love to hear more from me in these videos. And my current, just to give you an example, my current pain and ache, or that I just experienced the past days under a Leo full moon, hello, a very intense time, was the uncomfort of the discomfort of insecurity about stability. So fear of instability, fear of a non-stable income every month. So you might know that I trained to become a teacher, an arts and German literature teacher. So coming out of a self-employed family, I'm the only one that actually wanted to study something proper, and wanted to be employed by the state, to have it all covered, get my holiday payment, all that. Well, no, life happens, cacao comes into my world, I start hosting ceremonies, and more people want that kind of work, and want meditations, want these videos, want my personality and my shares. And here I am, self-employed, not getting holiday pay, not getting sick pay, being insecure about my monthly income. And here you see, this is the mind worrying and anxiety, versus my heart knows that what I'm doing is right, not only for me but also for others. I know that. I know this from the evidence that I get again and again and again, and the feedback from people that join me in person or online, and that work with me and that want to hear me. And so that's why, that's my core issue. So all of this seems to be quite nice going for me in some way, and this flows easy. I love creating content. I really love teaching, and teaching my cacao courses, or teaching about Avalon, the legends, more about this. There's going to be the next video about the priestess of Avalon, and what it means to be a priestess, and to help people through the unknown and the discomfort. Also aligned with that heart sword thing, of course, right? Going through the discomfort is a big thing. Yeah, but however, still I have my insecurities, and they are really painful at times. But I also know that I can stay curious and explore them. So yeah, I'd love to hear where you're at with that, how I can support you going forward, creating more content. And also, if you are feeling called to work more on your heart, if you want to fill that hole, then please join me on a magical journey with Mama Cacao. Mama Cacao is a tree. The aroma cacao is a tree, and it is a plant that is in its pure form the origin of chocolate. And we all know that chocolate brings us sweetness into our lives, and comfort and love. like the hot chocolate that our mom made when we were kids, you know. So the pure form taken in a big amount is actually there to help us open our hearts. And I can explain this not only in the woohoo esoteric terms. By the way, esoteric means holistic, so but I mean, you know, those like energy terms, I can actually explain this physically and scientifically why cacao opens our heart. And that's where the magic starts, this combination of, wow, there is scientific reasons, and there's nutritional benefits, there's chemical benefits for our body, for our mind, mental health, and for our emotions, and so much more. But then also there's the opportunity to create rituals in your days, to take time to connect, listen inward, and that's where this whole work comes into that HeartSword work, where you really start to do the inner work, to sit down with yourself, to face your emotions, to face your fears, to face your pain, and alchemizing them into your strength over time. And if you feel called to do this work alongside me, please join me. I'll be offering my cacao training, which is for personal journeying with cacao, as well as a facilitator training if you want to take it all the way to the end. And it starts May 3rd. After that, I will have, so this is going to be a 2-month course, so quite intense, let's say. Don't scare you. but also after that, I'm gonna transform it into a 1-year training, which allows me to, you know, spread out the teachings. That allows you to take them step by step in your own time, as well as it creates more support. Because what I found that the experience in the 2-month course, it's a lot to reflect. I give you a lot of input, and I give you a lot of reflection tasks as well. So for your personal work, as well as for knowing about cacao. And if you sign up for that 2-month course, you will be automatically in the new 1-year program, because what I found is that the experience takes so much time to integrate, as well as your own. If you feel called to share cacao with others, or want to hold your own ceremonies or integrate cacao in your already existing offers, for example, then you need to start doing that. And then that doesn't just happen after 2-month course. That happens after the 2 months, and then another month passes by, and then you have questions about how to do this online, or how to do this business-wise, or how to suddenly people come to your ceremony asking you certain questions about cacao that you didn't expect, or they have certain physical feelings, or talking with the HeartSword, maybe they come into a point where they feel like they want to really find their own sovereignty and claim that in a HeartSword. And you're like, oh, how do I say this? How do I tell them? And so you have the opportunity over 12 months really to work with me on this and on other topics. Maybe it's the topic of grief, another HeartSword topic really. So cacao really aids us in the process of grieving. That's a big one. Heartache. We all know the pain of being rejected, experiencing loss of loved one, and also being broken up with, as well as breaking up with someone. So these are all things that cacao works wonders. But then also we'll talk about cacao and its effect on the womb, if you're a woman, in pregnancy, with children, but also in sharing circles and talking circles, and that can be also man circles. So to all the men out there, please reach out to me. This is an inclusive group. It's for all genders. Alright, so far for now, please comment, like, subscribe, whatever you need to do to keep this going, and let me know how I can keep supporting you.